All over the world we hear about religious tensions, but a tradition is kept alive in one part of Nigeria, about 100 kilometers away from the former city capital of Lagos. In the city of Ojude-Oba, where the Ijebu tribe have their seat, every year there is a festival called Ojude-Oba. Today we're going to spend it in the company of Prince Theo Otobushin, the head of the Joshi family, whose son is here to represent him in the festival of Ojude-Oba. We begin the day at the residence of the prince, where family members, well-wishers, musicians gather to pay their respects to him and to prepare for the walk into town to the palace. There is, of course, a lot of dancing, celebration, and happiness that is also there. So, the senior members of the family are gathered, the dancing is beginning, and the horses which will be ridden are prepared. And for this special occasion, one of the chief's sons has travelled to represent him and the family on the visit to the palace of the king. The Ojude-Oba festival itself literally means in the compound of the king, and tradition has it that it was started by Muslims in the 19th century who wanted to give thanks to the king for allowing them to live in his kingdom in peace and practice Islam. And we see what is now a traditional custom of dancing and spraying, which is where wealthy members of the family and well-wishers will literally spray money on the dancers that they can keep as a sign of their generosity and patronage. This is then collected by helpers of the dancers and distributed later to other people. And now is the mounting up ready for the journey into town to the palace of the king. The horses are well decorated, and the decorating is very important for this festival, and also especially horse riding tricks are especially welcomed by the crowds. So we leave now the compound of Prince Otobushin, and this family delegation makes its way to join the other family delegations into town. As a family representative and the head of the delegation, the helpers protect the head of the delegation leader against the hot sun. Other masqueraders, seen here dressed in white, have come from Lagos in their traditional Lagos-style masquerades and join in the party. And now we've arrived for a brief stop at the seat of the Joshi family. Prince Otobushin is the head of the Joshi family, having taken over from his cousin, who at 104 years old felt that it was too much stress to be head of the family. He is bid welcome by the family members who are still living in the ancient family seat, and they gather for some prayers and talks in the room where the ancestors of the family are buried. So the delegation have received their words of instruction and the prayers, and now there will be some more dancing and outside some libations to appease the gods. Everywhere the prince goes, he is greeted with the shouting, with the greeting Dodondawa, that means our great benefactor. He is praised, and the delegation is once again sent away with good wishes. Individual members are blessed, and once again the delegation moves off from the family seat of the Joshi family to the palace of the king. Agbole Joshi means the house of the Joshi family. So we see now the approaching Joshi family with their flags and being egged on by the crowd to show their displays of horsemanship. There's a great throng at the palace, and you can see that a lot of people are wearing the green clothing that has been ordered this year by the king, but anybody who wants to enter the palace should be wearing this particular cloth. So more displays of horsemanship and firing of guns, much to the delight of the crowd. And now the delegation pays tribute to the king and receives a small cash sum. The envelope is received with much dancing and ceremony, and the delegation heads back to their horses to give way for the next family. And there's the king, the Awujale of Ijebu land, and in the special enclosure, the family heads and the heads of religious and other societies. And now they leave the palace of the king and make their way to a smaller palace of the king of Ijebu-Ode himself. So the first palace was the palace of the king of the Ijebus in total, but the town itself has also a king, and respect is also paid to this king. The court musicians for the king of Ijebu city will play all day and through the night, and the delegation arrives and dance for the king and pay traditional respects by prostrating in front of the king. And there is the king of Ijebu city itself. The delegation pay their respects and say words of gratitude and receive from this king also a small cash donation to the family. Again, much ceremonious dancing. And it is time to leave. Back again. You can see it's now late afternoon. It's been a long day as the delegation comes back to the Joshi household. And the head of the family gathers the delegation and senior family members around. A review is made of the day, what has gone well, what has not gone well, and what should be done next year before the Prince Otobushin discharges the delegation for the evening festivities.